How does the Aperion A5 compare to other speakers that I've had through the years for Atmos? Let's find out. So this is the Aperion A5. I've been using this recently. And this is my previous Atmos speaker, which is the Monoprice THX certified speaker. And they're not that dissimilar in size, but the Aperion is definitely the bigger speaker in drivers as well, not just in enclosure. Now, when I started with Atmos many years ago, I began with, I first tried a bookshelf speaker and it wasn't the best. So I even tried bouncy speakers at some point. That was terrible, even with an ideal thing. You just don't get the real Atmos experience. But I digress. Let's stick back to the topic, which is the bookshelves. So I've been using bookshelf speakers for Atmos. I haven't done any in-ceiling speakers, usually because I don't have a ceiling, because all my latest theaters have been on their unfinished basements. So in these unfinished basements, I decided to start with several different ones. I had the PSB Alpha P5. I started with the P3 first, and then I quickly moved to the P5 because I wanted the extra bass of it and see if it would be any better. I had the POG, the OWM3s. I tried the 5 as well, which has a dual mid-range on the tweeter. I tried the Ascend HDMS, the 200 SEs. What else did I try here? I think that in this particular run, I think that's about it for the ones that I tried, and then this and this. Okay, so when I started with the POGs, OWM3 or OMW3, one of those, it was a light speaker. It was easy to mount because it had like the threaded insert, kind of like what this one has below, right here. So it's easy to mount. Yeah. It was okay. The sound was a bit of a letdown. I didn't love the sound of that speaker, but it did the job. But I knew something was missing. And then I tried the OWM5, and it was louder. But if anything, I felt it was more restricted on the dispersion. Maybe I don't know if it's because the flank mid-range was making the tweeter even more compressed. But so I kept looking. Then I tried the PSB Alpha P3, and then the P5. And the P5, I have had quite a bit of time with them. They were fairly big for my Atmos, especially because my basement doesn't have a tall ceiling. So they were hanging a little bit too low for my taste. Also, they don't have the widest dispersion vertically, of course, because that goes for pretty much every two-way speaker, right? So I felt that I could do better, even though those are very full-sounding speakers like that for like a desktop setup. They are very full-sounding, a lot of bass for those small speakers. So, there was another one I got, Atlantic something 1000 number. If I remember, I'll put it somewhere. It was kind of like a nice tiny speaker, but they didn't sound very good out there. They just weren't able to handle it. So what I felt like I was missing all the time was like a more enveloping sound, right? It wasn't bad because I tweaked it a lot with drag and all that, but I still felt that there was more to get. So I kept reading about coaxial speakers, like coax speakers or concentric speakers like this, where the tweeter is in the center of the mid-range, right? In this case. Same here. And I was curious about it, but I couldn't find anything that was easy to mount, right? Like there's the Kevs, the Q150, I believe. But I was like, man, that's mounting that big speaker. How am I going to mount it here? And so I saw Erin's Audio Corner did a review of the Monoprice, and I decided to give it a shot. And right away I could tell the difference in the sound stage and cohesiveness of it, and how much expansive it is, vertically and horizontally, right? And I knew for sure that coax was going to be the speaker for me when it comes to Atmos. And so I got my 4 and mounted them there. First, I mounted them from the beams, and I'm going to try to put some images from previous builds. Some of the speakers I've been mentioning and how I've had this before. Hopefully I found enough photos to kind of give you an idea of how it looked. But they were there fine. I have them hanging like this from the top. And I put this extra safety with zip ties because I didn't trust this. This screw mount, it's okay. It seems to be, I don't know, it loses threads really quickly, and I just didn't feel very good about it, so I put that extra thing here to hold it. Good luck trying to get rid of this now, but in any case, it did the job. They never fell or anything, and they're not heavy. I mean, they're very light speakers anyway. But the problem with them is SPL. Because they are 81 dB sensitivity, I believe, they play fairly low for what the size they are. They are not able to give a lot of SPL, and they offer a lot. It's distortion, and you have to kill a lot of the bass. Otherwise, if any strong bass hits up there, and you're gonna hear it pop in that this is a 4-inch driver, the mid-range or woofer, and then the tweeter is a 0.75-inch tweeter, right? So you could tell that it was borderline stressed when I had them, but they were still hanging in there. The problem is that I wanted to create more separation on my theater from the bed layer, and I realized that I'll never finish my unfinished basements, at least not the part of my home theater, because I want that extra height that I have. Like if I don't finish, I can mount the speaker all the way to the top, which is 9 foot. Otherwise, it would drop a lot. And I don't want that because I'm already sitting pretty high because of my Hover Easy sofa couch platform, and I'll have to show you that later on a new video. So I see if I could find something that I could mount flush there, and I thought about maybe doing an enclosure for in-ceiling speaker, but then I had doubts that I could do it right. And then this speaker came to my attention, the Aperion A5. I mean, right away, this is beefier. You can tell the build quality it's on a different level. I mean, right from the get-go, from the finish to the heftiness of it. And it's not super heavy. I think it's like 7.5 pounds, but still, you can tell the difference between the two. And this one has a 5 1/4 woofer and a full 1-inch tweeter. So, yep, ballgame when it comes to out from this one. Sensitivity, I believe, is 87. I'll correct myself on the description if I miss this, or I'll put a note somewhere. In any case, definitely it's easier to drive, and it plays louder with no issues on the sounds. And one thing I noticed also after calibration, even though I'd have done this one by now, I think this is only 2 calibrations I've done on this. It seems to the mix better. I don't have to feel like I always have to like boost these ones more on the after calibration. I feel like I always have to boost them a little bit more to kind of like get more involved and hear more of the sounds coming from it. And this one, I just leave it the way Dirac puts it, and they just seem to cut through it. I don't know if they're a better match for my bed layer, and that's what makes them mix better and come through the mix overall as a more detailed, more precise location when there's pannings. But whatever it is working. I mean, the highs are there, nice and accurate and detailed, never harsh. And the mids are strong. The vocals, when there's like vocals moving around, I can hit them nicely through them. Now, if you compare them like as a desk speaker, like for small stereos, this one more fuller sound because it definitely plays lower. So you don't push them too hard. Like if you play something very basic like Bad Guy by Billie Eilish or something like that, it's gonna pop that and it's gonna suffer. This one is not gonna play those notes. It's not gonna suffer, and it's gonna play louder. So there's a trade. In any case, I'm using subwoofers with either, so it didn't make sense, right? This one will play better. One thing I love about this, besides the nice looks and the bigger drivers, is the mounting options. It has like, you can mount from the sides, you can remove those things, and there's mounting holes. And on the back, so this is the bracket that they sell. And I love this bracket. It's so good. At first, I wasn't sure how it's going to work, but man, it's easy. You mount the part to the ceiling, and then this just like rail. And you can put a couple of like screws right there to secure it. But honestly, I just have it like this. And it just hangs it into my location. with that angle, it needs to be enough because I don't have any problems getting a very good detail sounds where I'm on my location, on my sitting position, and I can move around. Like the sound remains the same, very similar sound. It's not changing tones like when you have a speaker with a limited dispersion. So yeah, this mountain, which I have some doubts about, turned out to be the best thing, because now when I put this at the top, I measure from the floor to the middle of the tweeter, and I have 8 foot 6 inches from the floor. So basically 4 inches from the top is the only thing that I'm missing through this, right? So I have 9 foot ceiling, and I get the drivers at 8 and 6 inches, so hard to get any higher. So I'm gaining a lot of height that I wanted to create that separation from the bed layer, which I couldn't gain with this at this level, because no matter what, this is going to be more than 6. And the way it mounts, this is going to stick out no matter what. So yeah, that was definitely a big thing. Another thing I hate about this one is there's no plugs. It's just spring-loaded. I hate spring-loaded things. I mean, they're not bad. They held there. I never felt like they were coming out, but still. This one has proper, for the sound, proper binding posts. You can either screw a bare cable through them or banana plugs. And it's perfect like that. And one little detail that I like is that this is removable. So you put it in different positions. You can just remove this and mount it the way you need, because it's magnetic. After you're done, you just put it back there, so the Aperion logo always looks correct. Okay, so listening to different movies, like there's a Spider-Man movie. I always forget if it's Homecoming or which one. There's a scene where Spider-Man is like hallucinating things, and there's a lot of voices at the top, like, "You're making me do this all around it." And in all my years having the Atmos here and in my previous home, I never experienced Atmos so wide, expansive, and clear, and the detail as it's moving throughout my head. It used to be good with this one already. I loved it, even though there were some areas where I could move and still feel a little bit weird. And perhaps because it was closer to me, the farther away the speaker is from you, right, the more the dispersion covers, because it's just an angle, right? So if I'm like this, at this height, and the angle is like this, it's going to cover like this. It goes same angle, it gets spreading, right? So it covers more area. So now that I can put them so much higher, it seems to cover so much more. Like, I can't tell exactly it's coming from the speakers. It just seems to roll from that side of the speaker to the other, and just all around me, and rain effects and anything like that. Just impressive. I wasn't sure if it was going to work out. I was looking at the prices. I was like, should I try them? And I saw a local selling them because he was going to get in-ceiling speakers. And I know they come with grills. The guy that sold them to me, he doesn't have the grills. He lost them, apparently. I don't put the grills anywhere in the speakers, so it's not a big deal for me. Just for the video, I would love to have the grills. I know they're magnetic, so that's why I don't have them, because the guy that sold them to me doesn't. In any case, they're in great shape. All the time, the missing grills, there's nothing to argue about them. But like I said, the tweeter, very detailed, very nice, comes through nicely through the movies. I never had to go boost the Atmos to make them come alive. No, they're there, and they don't distract you, but they don't hide from you, right? They just work. They just blend with everything else as it should be. You don't want any particular speaker to just call attention to themselves all the time, which sometimes it will happen because I will have to boost them more to get them to, okay, I can hear my Atmos now or something. And same thing with the mid-range. The mid-range, like when you have vocals like the one with Sandra Bullock, Gravity, which is moving around, and there's also vocals moving around you. Man, this is so nice, the way it's precisely moving around you, behind you, and she moves to the center again, or people making from Houston, talking all around you, here, one there, and it's so precise and so clear, without me boosting anything. I never experienced it like that before, and now that I have, it's hard to go back. So for now on, I'm only recommending, hey, you want Atmos speakers, get coax, get either this. You can, if you can get away with the limitations on the SPL, or better this, just go for this and remove any limitations, and it will be flush to your roof. So yeah, I guess I have a new favorite Atmos speakers now. If I could get like a 8-inch version of this that is flat like this, so it doesn't take much more space, I would love it. But I don't think that's happening. And for my room here, this is more than enough. You can play it loud enough, and the bass, I'm crossing over to my subwoofers anyway. I have to put some measurements from not exact measurements from the Atmos, because it's hard for me to measure Atmos because of the way REW works. I can provide you sort of like what sees as the limit for this and this, so you get an idea. Because I know Joe and Tell, I think he reviewed them, says it was like 120, no more than 110 or 150, something like that he was getting in theirs. Mine are mounted to the ceiling, so I think one was like 80 something and the other one like 110. So they are getting some reinforcement from being flush against the ceiling, right? But I know that this one were recognized as capable of deeper steel. I'm not surprised, because they are. You can clearly tell. But I don't feel like these are lacking. That's my point. I never felt like, oh man, these are so tiny and wimpy sounding, like when I had the Polk, for example, the WM3s. I feel like they just lack. They were a bit too thin and canned sounding instead of like a bit more robust. This one is not gonna win awards for bass, but that's not what they were designed for. If you wanna do Atmos, first recommendation, do 4. Now, if you had your back against the wall for some reason and you can't move forward, please move forward from the back. But if you have to, then just do 2. Don't do 4, because it doesn't help. But if you don't have your back against the wall and your sofa, do 4 at most. That's gonna give you the panning that you need. And you don't need 6 unless you have more than 2 rows, right? If you had only 1 row, then 4 is more than enough, and it's gonna deliver the Atmos that it was the way it was intended. And if you want the best, most detailed and enveloping Atmos cube of sound, then get a coax. Like I said, either this or this. But if you have the money, and I will go with this one already, because you won't have any limitations. You play it as loud as you want. In any case, let me know if you have any questions, and I'll be showing them mounted on my ceiling soon, either in this same video during B-roll, or when I do my walk around video, because I'm doing a whole overall revamp of my theater room coming up. As always, thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you have any questions, share, like, comment, and all that stuff.